So we're heading into the fall, and as we do, we're going to do something a little bit different with Rhythms this next year. Typically, we're jumping around from book to book or letter to letter and jumping into specific passages. This year, we're going to stay in the same letter. So we're going to stay in 1 Corinthians, and we're going to move throughout the letter as we move through the year. And so as we launch into the fall, we're going to start off in 1 Corinthians chapter 1. And we're basically going to be looking at one passage from each chapter as we move through the year. I'm going to take you to verse 26. We're almost at the end of the chapter. He's done a lot of the greetings. And then he says this. He says, "Brothers, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth." He doesn't say not any. He says not many. "But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. He chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. It is because of him that you are in Christ Jesus, who has become for us wisdom from God. That is our righteousness, holiness, and redemption. Therefore, as it is written, let him who boasts boast in the Lord." And so he comes to this point, he's done the introductions, and he says, let's just start from here. Whatever it is that you think that you have to boast about. And he walks through whether it's strength, whether it's wisdom. And the reality is that in life, we put our pride in, we put our security in, all these different things. But the reality is that God's shown them all to be, well, at best, temporary. And really nothing compared to what it is that he has to offer. And so he comes to the end and he says there's really only one thing that we have to boast about that's of any really eternal significance. And that's what it is that God's done in our lives. And so as we move through this month, I want for you, as you come to this passage over and over again, to ask yourself this question. What is it that you boast about most? That you're most proud of, that you celebrate with others more than anything else? Anthony's been walking us through this story conversation. What's the story you tell the most? You want to make sure that people see. Well, the reality is that most of what we boast about, it comes and it goes, and it really has very little eternal significance, even if it has temporary significance. But there is one thing that we have. The righteousness of Christ that's been given to us because of what Jesus made possible. We do have that, and that will never end. And that's far more significant than anything else we've ever had or will have. So what does it look like to boast in that? What does it look like to celebrate that the most? And we get to celebrate all the rest of what he's given us and how he provides. But what is it that we boast in the most? Have a great month.